Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Sonia. I'm back with the infamous, who needs no introduction, attorney Ticora Davis.
Oh my
Back
goodness.
on the stage together.
Oh,
How's it
thank you
going,
so
sis?
much. It's going good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to officially partner with you to do something really fantastic together, and also just to be able to pour into a community that we both love. So I'm excited.
Yes, ma'am. So today's case study interview is very special because if you haven't seen already, Ticora is actually a guest speaker for my new upcoming 2 weeks of trademarks reteach. Never had a guest speaker before. Just thought it'd be fun, and who else to capture but some of my favorites from the trademark community. So today in this video, not only are we capturing Ticora's personal experience taking 2 weeks to trademarks several years ago, but then we're actually going to give you a little treat and provide you 3 top ways to close more consultations. So it's a nice little preview of some of the material that we'll be teaching together in 2 weeks of trademarks, because remember, there's no point in learning a practice area unless you have people to do it for. So we're here to help with that part. And with that, let's dive right in. So let's go all the way to the beginning. Back, vintage Ticora, baby miles on the hip. Where were we?
We're going all the way back.
All the way back. Take us through it. You got let go. What happened?
Oh my gosh. So, I went to law school, graduated, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and my first job was as an intellectual property analyst. And my husband and I had just gotten married a few months prior to that. And so that was amazing because I got to work with a ton of inventors. And that helped me understand the mindset of a creative. I really didn't understand it prior to that. I've always known that I wanted to be a trademark attorney. Well, at least since law school. I saw a woman, she came and she did a guest lecture. I took a patent drafting course with Braxton Davis, and she was a guest expert in the course. And when she was, now of course I'm supposed to be learning about patents, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at her and she's talking about trademarks. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do what she's doing. That's it, because I was like, this patent stuff sucks. Like, I don't want to do it. But
It's boring.
seeing her, it just really ignited a fire in me. I was like, okay, what are these trademarks and these copyrights? I know about patents. And, eventually I was able to get a job again, like I said, as an IP analyst, but I still was dealing with patents. And I really, really wanted to work on trademarks. And so I worked there for about 1.5 years and got, cut my teeth there. And then that company downsized and then I was laid off. And I had just found out I was pregnant. My husband and I were pregnant with our first child. So I was like, oh my gosh. So my husband was like, just relax. You can stay home. I'll take care of you. And I'm like, no, I'm an independent woman. Like, I have to find a job, and he was so sweet. He was like, just chill. And I'm like, no, I can't chill. You don't understand. Because I really didn't have any experience as a licensed attorney at the time. I had been almost maybe not even a year, and I've been licensed for a year. So I ended up finding a job for somebody at my law school, and she's like, hey, we're looking for another attorney. And so I came, and it was an entertainment law firm, and he did trademark law, and he worked with creatives. And I thought, my dream job, finally, this person is going to give me a chance. I'm going to come in here mega pregnant, and I'm going to blow him away. And what really happened was the opposite. I was put in a position of just being a secretary, not an attorney. And I didn't learn anything about trademarks. He had a couple of checklists that I was able to look at, but there was no type of substantive training. And that really was disheartening because I really had my heart set on learning more about this unique practice area. The confidence that I did gain while working with him, and it was a very toxic work environment, but what I did gain was how to run a business and how not to run a business, how not to treat people. And I learned a lot about branding. So he ended up firing me after my son was born, and he was 10 days old. And he told me I need to stay home and get over my pregnancy brain. And I just thought, I just can't catch a break. Like, I just got laid off. I got this new job. I didn't learn anything about the area of law that I want. I have this beautiful new baby, and now this person is telling me that my child is pretty much a curse. Like I have pregnancy brain, whatever that means. And so I spent the latter half of 2016 working document review and getting paid as little as $18 an hour. I applied for over 100 jobs and I didn't get an interview anywhere. And I just got to the point where I was like, okay, God, like, are you trying to tell me I'm supposed to start my own law firm? Because none of this other stuff that I'm doing is working out. And that's the last thing that I want to do, by the way. I do not want to start my own firm, you know? And so I just had a piece about that. And so I decided to proceed and move forward with that. And I felt like an imposter, Sonia, because I'm like, I had to call myself a trademark lawyer without having ever filed a trademark. And so I began to look for opportunities that could teach me how, and there weren't any. And so I was like, okay, there's nothing out there. There's no CLEs. I didn't know where to go. And so I was like, I will just take on two pro bono clients. Hopefully I won't mess up anything too bad, you know. And I got one trademark I taught myself like how to do. I literally read every single sentence on the trademark application. And y'all know how those trademark applications look. I read everything. Applications timing out, like having to refresh, didn't know how to save it. I just thought I had to
oh man,
it was a hot mess. Okay.
The struggle is real when you DIY, it is tough.
And so one of them got refused and I was like, oh my God, but one of them got approved. I was like, crap. Okay. So you did it, but you still don't really know why you were successful and you messed up one and you don't really, you forgot you didn't do a search. I didn't even know that you could search. I was just like straight up applying. Okay.
That's amazing.
Don't come for me, malpractice people. Don't come for me. Okay. So he was so kind. The person was like, it's okay. You tried, you know, I was like, sorry. And I started to look, I was like, somebody's got to be doing something. And then I found out that Braxton had taught a trademark clinic like a few years prior. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey man, when you have a trademark clinic again, you know, and he ended up bringing it back. And then you were a guest lecturer in the trademark clinic.
Now we're talking my vintage days.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, we're going back for everybody. This is 2017.
Ooh,
yeah,
April 2017. And I was like, she's amazing. I love her. She's talking how I talk. She's walking how I walk. Like trademark lawyer lady, I'm following her, you know. And so I began to be just kind of follow you. And if I knew you had taught the first one, I would have had my butt in that first one. But then I saw November 20 or December, because they taught me well, right? And you had a great session, but they didn't teach fully everything that I needed. Like I didn't know anything about office action responses. So with that baseline knowledge, I was able to get a few clients, but not as many. And then when I started getting these office actions, I'm like, oh, what is this? I don't even know what this is. What am I supposed to do? What is an office action? Nobody told me this could happen, you know? And thankfully I guess, I don't know who spoke to you, but whoever it was, thank
God.
you. God.
that was God.
And I was like, whoa, what is this 2 weeks to trademarks? Like, what's happening here? I'm signing up. Let me put it on a credit card, right? Because I knew I had all these pieces that could work together to be really successful. But starting a firm, not having any experience in trademarks, not having a supervising attorney or someone I could walk down the hall and talk to, I was like, I need that. And I'm willing to pay to have access to that because I know that's going to give me confidence. And if it's going to give me confidence, it can turn into currency, right? And so I was willing to make the investment because I knew I'm going to get a return on this. And so, man, that 2 weeks to trademarks vintage, and it was actually 1 week to trademarks because you pushed it all together.
I don't know what I was thinking. It was like every day for like a week straight. Why did we do that? I don't know what.
Because the first year I just messed around. I don't know how I made 115,000. I crossed six figures in the first year.
Amazing.
But when I took your course and I was like, oh, so this is how I respond to an office action. Here's the substantive stuff. This is about maintenance. I had so much more confidence. And then I basically made an additional $100,000 the next year because I put into practice what I learned in your course from 2 weeks, 1 week or 2 weeks to trademarks, right? And so that's how I got on this path of learning more about trademarks, but also just being really scrappy, like asking for help, asking questions. Like I never mind answering anybody's questions, staying involved in the group, listening to the questions that other practitioners ask, and then researching it for myself and not just waiting for someone to give me an answer. And so now today, which is crazy, like, five and a half years in the game, you know, I run my firm on a July to June calendar. So from July 2020 to June 2021, we did cross seven figures, which is amazing.
It's like, it's beyond like, when you're so excited, I can't get any sound out. I'm like, it's incredible. So you guys, she adds 100K in the first year.
200.
Grinds.
So here's what happened. So
Oh my God.
2017, I think I made 115,000, I think. 2018, I made like 215, right? So almost 100. 2019, I made 350,000.
So we're just seeing it.
2020, I made 927,000. And in 2021, when you scale that fast, I'm gonna tell you, your whole business breaks. So last year we made like 923. So this year it's like, all right, you got a formula going and it works. Now it's about running the business, getting the right people in place, learning about marketing, learning about how you can sell. Like, so looking at what is functioning and then fine tuning all the pieces so they work and they flow perfectly together. So I'm really happy that you have, and over time, I just kept investing in your products because it helped strengthen me as a practitioner of how do I respond to office actions, or, how do we do Boolean searches and things like that, and being able to impart that knowledge into my team. And then, my unique thing is systems. Like I knew whatever it was that I learned from anyone, I was like, you have to create a system for success. And so I've created systems and scripts and SOPs, so I could actually train other people to think like me and to operate my same spirit of excellence. And so I think that's the unique thing that I've done. Like, if you guys take these courses, you need to be able to add your own kind of swag to things, right? And be able to add, you to how you sell and how you show up and how you market and how you scale. And so I think that's something that I've been able to, I don't want to say master, because I'm really just it's hard for me to say master. Other people probably say you've mastered this, but I don't feel like I have, because I'm always looking for ways to improve. But overall, that is my story. And I'm just so thankful that you said yes, to be able to create things for people like me that we can use and leverage in our own business. And that's the foundational stuff that I needed to have because you can build anything. Like, even if you have to tear something down in the business, if you have a strong foundation, you can always rebuild. And so I'm consistently tearing things down and rebuilding. But I'm so grateful for the foundational elements that, at least from the legal perspective, that I have as a result of the courses and the instruction.
What an incredible story. Like, absolutely just incredible to do something a year, which is without anything, just bare, is really impressive just by itself, right? That's your worst year is 6 figures.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't
to add 100. Yeah. Like, that's at you at your worst is without any kind of anything, like, and then to add 100K and then to just zoom upward. And as you're implementing, you're learning, you're implementing, you're learning, you're implementing. And one of the strengths that I've seen in you, and that this is it's a very noticeable trait. And I think it's a trait that I think most successful people tend to have in common, is this spirit of investing in one's self, one's own education, and identifying the gaps. That's something that you have never shied away from. Famously, not that I'm going around recommending debt, but you famously put, my course and some other stuff on credit cards at the time. And I know a lot of my students have, but when you think about it, you're going to, we all plunk down 6 figures for a whole damn law degree, right? Whether you're in loan debt or not, somebody paid that price, right?
Oh, yeah.
And thinking that we're going to make back our money. And so, that didn't quite turn out for everybody. And, more on that later, more on that in another video. But, the idea of investing in oneself for a return in the future to be able to make your money back is something that I think you have mastered. That is an innate quality that is just ingrained in you. And I think it has served you, because you're like, hey, I don't know that. Instead of head ostrich in the sand,
Yeah.
You're like, okay, let's zoom in on it and pour into it and learn it, right? And expose that gap.
I know I probably invested well over $200,000 in courses and coaches and things like that, because I have to pay to get access to certain knowledge. And some people may not believe that, but, or maybe I don't, but I really don't want to take forever to get to success. And so I'm paying for the cheat code, so to speak. And so I pay to get access to the cheat code or communities or masterminds and things like that, to be in front of new audiences, to get access to new clients, right? And many people will look at investments and they say, well, I'm not going to pay X amount for a course, or X amount for a mastermind, or X amount for this or that. Well, I think mainly that has nothing to do with the person who created the program, especially if you feel like, man, this is going to really help me and it's going to be beneficial. It has everything to do with, hey, am I going to show up and do what I need to do so that I can see a return? So I know that, Sonia, you operate from an abundance mindset. So whether someone, engages with the program or not, you're still going to show up in your purpose, because that's what you're supposed to do. But many people have to grapple with the idea of, if I make this investment, if I pay this money, am I going to do the work that it requires to see the fruits of my labor? And so I'm always like, I'm going to do the work. Like, I just need to know what I need to do. You need to give me this clarity. Thank you so much. I paid for it. Now I'm going to put it to work, and then I'll make my money right back. You can make your money right back with just a few clients.
And it is about having, it is about having that confidence in yourself. But I love that you touched on something so important, which is the other half of the success equation. It's knowledge plus implementation. And people forget, and I liken myself to, a little bit like a personal trainer almost, right? Like, if you come every day, I will show you what to do. I've demonstrated that I can build it. I'm living proof of it, right? So I've got the business equivalent of a six-pack, not the real one, definitely not the real one, right? But I walk the walk. I show that I've achieved it, right? And if you come every day, I will show you what to do. You follow the plan, it works, right? But you got to drink your water. You got to make the choice of, one slice of pizza and not two. You got to eat your vegetables. You got to do all your steps. But a trainer cannot come pry cake out of your hand at 3 a.m., right? I can't force you to or not to do the things you're supposed to do, which is, and to your example, like the things that you've been doing all this time, being consistent on social media and committing to a marketing strategy and going the distance with it, right? Not being sporadic about this, consistently implementing, creating systems, creating processes. And like you said, adding your own kind of, swagger on it to build. Right. But you do have that is the second half. And so I think that's a really important point, that while I can say for myself and others can say about my material that it is credible, valuable, and packed, but you do have to do the rest of the equation. I can't, it's as close of a plug and play as you're going to get. It's
at this point, so I think that's but this is why you have Boss of an Empire, and you have other avenues where people can receive that support. And there are other places, of course, that books to read or other places to go and things like that to get that type of support too. But I think you have a very unique lens and focus on how you show up and you do that, because it's directly applicable to how to practice trademark law well, and in excellence, right? Which is what we want. So to me, it just makes sense. Like, if I come to someone and there's a thriving community and that community is doing well, and I can get substantive knowledge that I need in order to move forward and get where I need to go faster, then why wouldn't I do it? It's so easy to make a lot of money in a little bit of time, but it's really difficult to make a lot of money over a longer period of time.
To sustain that growth. Yeah.
To sustain it. And so it's, to me, I'm like, well, how can I get there faster? I have things to do and I don't have all day to do them.
Correct. And I love, we, a few moments ago, you touched on something, you called it the cheat code, which I love that analogy, which is that, sure, if you gave the next 3 to 6 months of your life and you read every line of the TMEP and watched every single video and read through thousands of trademark applications, because it's all public available data. Yeah. Okay. You could teach yourself, but think about the revenue you're leaving on the table. Think about the time. And even then it's not a guarantee you're doing it right, because you could have missed, you don't know what you don't know, and you could have missed something. And the fatal flaw of trademark practice, unfortunately, is that the problems don't arise until 6 to 8 months or 9 months later when the option, you can click submit and go about your day and you think you did it.
I think that's the thing too, like there's a cost to it, right? So you can do things on your own and keep trying to figure things out on your own, as opposed to saying, wow, I've paid to have access to solutions and things like that. Like I look at it this way too, like I'm always trying to constantly innovate the way that I do things. And so I was listening to a speaker, Myron Golden, and he said the person who moves first gets the most. And people who succeed make decisions very fast and change them very slowly. But poor people, or people who are struggling with that, they make decisions very slowly and change them very quickly. Wealth has a need for speed.
I love that.
Like, whoa. And I began to think about that. Like, I did the trademark party boxes, right? So that was innovation that I brought to the market. And I did that. Didn't see anybody else doing that, right? And my clients loved it. And what ended up happening was they were showing it on social media. They were sharing it. They were doing all sorts of things. And that drove more traffic into my firm, right? And so
Yeah.
I moved first. Now, many people are doing it, right? Or they're doing their own version of it, right? Which is fine, right? But because I moved first, I got the most, and now the market may be diluted, or it may grow to be diluted with more people who do those things. So what does that mean? Within the way that I run my business, I'm constantly looking for a way to innovate. And so those are just different things like that. And we're kind of getting a little further into strategy, and we'll talk about that in the course. But how do you stand out in a sea of sameness when everybody seems like they're doing something similar, right? So you have the substantive knowledge. What's going to distinguish you from person A doing the same thing as person B?
Yeah.
And so there's a need for that to be infused in how you run your business, whether it be how you deliver services, how you show up, the systems that you create. So that's why I love my systems and how I have things in the business, because it makes it easier for me as a practitioner. It makes my clients feel more comfortable. It allows me to focus on less tactical things, right? And it's just automated. But it also just allows me and it frees me up to not have to consistently talk to people about things that can be automated. And it gives me more room and more freedom to innovate in my company. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm about to do something different. And I'm going to be first to market with this new thing.
First to exactly. You better buckle up and hang on.
I'm excited, right? So
I almost think we should do one of these once a year, because so much changes, and it's like, where are you? I'm gonna come for you. Like, where are you all now? Like, like how VH1 used to be. Like, where are they now? Because what a treat to get to sit from my vantage point and be like, wow, look what you got, like what, and all the ways that people have taken my material and done so many things. And so, if this is your first video that you're watching, definitely visit the channel of it's on YouTube. I've captured so many stories, and I'm going to continue to do so. I've got hundreds of people that have gone through this, and so that gone through the programs. And so to be able to capture each of your stories and just all the different ways you guys have built. And so one thing I know that you get asked a lot, and so part of my goal here is to kind of capture the FAQs for Ticora, so that if people are like, can I have coffee with you? Can I pick your brain? You can just watch this video and it'll answer all the major questions. How did you get to where you are? But one of your many strengths and gifts is marketing, right? Innovative, different spins on marketing. But as a fellow high earner, high revenue practice owner, you know that it's not just about marketing. That's one piece of the puzzle. And so I would love to ask you for the video, for those who I know are wondering, what do you feel like are the contributing factors from year 1 or 2 to where you are now, and in this fast-paced growth? Because we know it's not just marketing. So talk to us about some of the other stuff that people might not be thinking about.
Yeah, you got to hire help. And you have to make intelligent hires. So don't think that the reason why I was able to scale from 350 to like 9 something is because I hired help. And it was good. I had people assisting with the searches. I had basically more, people say Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day that you do. No, she doesn't. Like, no. She has more people that work for her than you do, and she can get more done, right? And so if you are able to leverage talent, whether it be international or, domestic talent in your company, that's going to allow you to be more efficient. And so the other thing too that contributes is I know my strengths. I'm an excellent businesswoman. I'm an excellent marketer. I'm really good at sales. I'm also a very good attorney, but I think my strengths lend itself a little bit more to the marketing piece and the innovation piece. So if I get pulled too much into doing the work and getting bogged down in that, it's not the best use of my brain. And so finding ways to delegate things allows me to operate fully in my strengths. And so then finally, well, not finally, but also when you market to people and you nurture them and you get them into the funnel and they pay, you wow them, you deliver, you wow, you upsell, right? And so there's different ways that we deliver to our clients. There's different ways we wow them. And also there's ways that we upsell. And so we do different things in terms of when they come in to be able to upsell them to other services that could benefit them. And so, yes, it's not just, the marketing, that's one piece, although sales and marketing are the lifeblood of the business, you have to think about the heart of the business, which are the people. And so for me, being able to delegate and get that type of support on the back end really helps the clients have a really great time. And also I tell people, I really appreciate you hiring me. I went to a conference this past week. I met so many of my clients. I hugged them. I said, thank you for supporting my business. I
That's
really
amazing.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it this time, but I went to another conference one time and I literally hand delivered gift cards to my clients. I said, I got this for you. I wrote them a note. I told them, thank you. Like I've handwritten notes, that type of stuff. And even the party boxes, celebrating them. They wait so long to get the trademark. I never saw someone celebrating their clients. And I didn't like what I was doing. Somebody else probably did do it, but I wasn't paying attention because I don't really follow other attorneys. I might follow you and then I'll mute you. And it's not being mean. I cannot afford to allow my creativity to be skewed or tainted or infiltrated by somebody. And I don't want to accidentally copy someone. So I won't follow. I really try not to look at what other people do for that reason, right? I want all of my ideas to be authentic. And so those are those little touches all throughout it. And it's crazy. I can tell you, like, I filed my 1,000th trademark 2 weeks ago. Crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Incredible. I hope that attorney that let you go sees that at some point.
He might, but it was what he did. And I was going to say, because, we have a 98.5% success rate because your courses in the office actions, it allowed us to be really great. And, whether or not he sees me or not, I'm thankful for him. I've had to, for a long time, I think I just harbored some resentment in my heart towards him because I was like, I'm going to show him he was wrong, right? And I was motivated by that revenge, right? And maybe that is why I'm very successful. But if you aren't careful, you have to always constantly re-examine why you started your business, because
Yes.
what happened was I was leading my team and the company with a broken heart and through the perspective of having my heart broken.
Right.
And so I ended up doing things, and we'll have to talk about that later, probably, within the course itself. But there were things that I did and they were basically emotional decisions that I made in the business that were based on feelings, not facts. And so I may have allowed myself to get taken advantage of. I may have allowed certain systems or people or processes to stay, or clients to stay in the business longer than what they should have, because I never wanted someone to feel how I felt when my heart was broken. Right. And so we have to be careful, like how you start the business. Now I'm looking at it again and I say, I need a new vision. Like when I wrote the vision for the firm in 2016, I've led the firm with that same vision for 5 years, but that's not the best vision because it's a broken vision. I need a whole vision. Right. And so I'm always looking at different things. And so again, boundaries, setting realistic expectations, and also asking myself, where is the new direction of the creators law firm? And where's the new direction for Ticora? And what does that look like?
Yeah. And it's all ever evolving, and not because it has to, but because it can. It doesn't have to look the same because it's your design. And that is the coolest thing I think about being in a career path where you have that full control. If you want to do this forever, you may just sharpen it and make it better and better. If not, you don't have to either. It can just be a season. It can be a chapter. It can be something you do a little bit of, but not a lot of, I mean, it's really, we tend to look at law degree, sort of having the law degree as in a vacuum, like, oh, I either practice law or I don't. And it's a spectrum.
Right. I think that's the tough part too. If we have to get out of our heads when we are practicing, because you have to run it like an entrepreneur. You cannot run these firms like lawyers, right? And
Hmm.
so I think that's another big thing too. It's okay that you have fun in your business. It's okay that you create different types of marketing. And it's okay if you show up. You don't have to be all buttoned up unless that's what you want to do. I had one girl, she was like, I really want to wear my hair pink, and but I don't know if people are going to look at that as professional. I'm like, girl, you better wear your pink hair like your client. And she was working in fashion. I'm like, they're going to love that. Like,
Yeah, that is your
that's the thing, right? Show up as you. They're going to be so attracted to that, and
absolutely.
yeah. So yeah.
So we've talked about on whole spectrum of things. We've talked about your journey, your start, the scaling a little bit, so much. And it's, obviously we're talking in a business context, but what we all know to be true is that we're people and we don't operate in columns, right? It's not like family life, me, business. It's like all day, every day, everything. And, especially being a mom of young children and being married, having a full household, how everything. Talk to me a little bit about how starting with the investment in yourself with this course and obviously some other materials and stuff. Talk to me about the impact on your life overall. Business, but also just family, yourself, your anything. I would love to hear just the overall impact. How has your life changed, gotten better?
Well, I think as you guys can see, I'm in my beautiful office now. This is
So
my
gorgeous.
I started my law firm out of my closet in my old house.
The Cloffice.
The Cloffice,
Her
right?
husband, Cloffice. I love that because Tyrone built you like a little area, didn't he?
Yeah, he paid and he was like, container store. Like I was in there. It was so funny. Like we have to like pop in this presentation a picture of me in that Cloffice because one person said, "It looks like you're in a." He said, "It looks like you're inside a giant refrigerator," and I was like, "I'll never forget it." Like I did because the shelves were wire. Like
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
That's amazing.
I didn't have any windows in my office. I literally was like in a corner and like my desk was in the corner and next to me were like my shoes and then like
Incredible.
here was like my blazers and it was a lot like and I just like what I would pray in that closet. I would pray for my clients in the closet. Like Facebook, they did the mini documentary about me in that
I
closet. Like it was
remember.
all of these cool things that happen there. Like, don't despise small beginnings. And so, with the wealth increase that we had, we were able to, upgrade our lifestyle. So we now live in a larger home, and I can put my children in the schools that I want to put them in. And, my children are in a Spanish immersion school. So they fully understand Spanish at 3 and 6, and they are speaking in Spanish. And, they know my son knows how to do dynamic addition, like and subtraction and multiplication. And he's
Oh
6.
my
So like
gosh.
they're able to get access to things that, I don't the opportunities weren't there for me growing up. I didn't, grow up, didn't have bad life, but there were certain things that I just wasn't able to take advantage of at the same age as my children. And, I remember I I came to my husband and I put like $7,000 in his hand. And I was like, you can take this and you can pay off it was something I gave to him. And he was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
But I was like, you can take it. And it didn't hurt me to do that,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah.
like we have been, trying to get this thing going for so long. And he had been by my side and sacrificing and making investments in my business, or we were able to take a vacation. We hadn't taken a solo vacation together in 6 years before December 2022.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
sorry, December 2020. And so I surprised him and I was like, we're going on a vacation. And he was so moved and so touched because he never complains, but I could tell he was tired. He was
Yeah.
just been working very hard and we were able to do that, or take our children. And what I like to collect is I like to collect memories with my family. And so if I can create more memories as a result of the job that I have, and have more freedom, then that's what it's really about. I don't want to do this and create another job for myself or a burden. I want it to be a blessing. And so sometimes that pendulum swings where you're like, this is straight up a blessing. And then you're like, this is a burden, right? And so you have to make sure that it swings back into blessed mode so that you can continue to enjoy it, because I know that I'm created to do this. And so my lifestyle has been it's very different, how much I can give to my church. I'm so thankful, and we have a heart to do more and give to my community. And my firm is able to, pour into Safe Alliance, which is a domestic violence shelter here. Like, we're able to do those things and give the team bonuses and, send them to conferences and reinvest into my people. Like, these are the things that we're doing, which is a blessing. So I am, very thankful that, because I said to Cora, because I knew you want to be a trademark attorney. And I was like, I need to find how I can be that,
Yeah.
that the opportunities open up for me. And so, for example, I'm always like recently I kept saying something's wrong in my business and I can't figure it out. Like, my pieces aren't working together. So I know what problems I have. And because I was just like, what's the problem? I now have a solution, right? And so I'm always, if you are saying I have a problem, like for me, it was, I don't know how to practice trademark law and I need somebody to teach me. Okay, thank you, God. Some people say universe, whatever, deliver these programs, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, now that I have the answer to my prayer, am I going to actually go forward with it? Because many people have been saying, I just need something. I just need that one thing. I just need someone to say that one thing. I just need a program. I just need this or that. And then you have it here that's going to give you the support that you need, the clarity that you need. And you just have to say, am I going to make the investment? You have to move now, because it's not, first of all, Sonia don't have to do these courses.
I don't have a fully fledged law firm, y'all. I do. That is going just fine, like beyond just fine. So I do not need to, there was no need to do this.
For real, like you can be like, I'm not teaching this anymore. Like you could totally do that.
I could go back. I could probably 20x my firm revenue if I put all the attention back into it.
Sure.
It's already over 7 figures, but I'm like, look, it's attention away when I teach and stuff like that. But you're right. Thank you. Thank you. You're right about that.
Like, the other thing too is like, people will be like, time is money. No, it's not. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. If I said, I'll give you $1 million, you'd be like, yeah, I want it. But if I say, I give you $1 million and you're going to die tomorrow, if you take it, you'd be like, I don't want that. Like, I'm good. Right? So
yeah.
You already know that time is not equal to money. Time is much more valuable than money. And so it's not a matter of, for me, it's like, why waste time to save a little bit of money when you could be making a lot more money? Right? So you take the money, you make it the investment, and you put it into a good place. Someone who has a quality program, who's not going to scam you, who's not going to be, you have someone that's like, this has been tested, tried to, vetted, and okay, I can put my money here, I can work it. And then you have to also have patience with yourself. I didn't get the law firm that I got overnight. It took year after year after year. It's still taking another, years and years, right, to get to that point. So we have to just be real with ourselves and just say, okay, am I going to try to waste time to save a little bit of money? Or do I just need to move now and make the investment? Because time is much more valuable than money. Because if I would have kept going the way I was going, I wouldn't have been able to create the momentum that I've created in my business.
It's true. And like you said a few minutes ago, you make it up 1 to 2 clients max, and then it's all profit after. I mean, that's the thing, right? I know I was joking with somebody the other day on one of these case study interviews. I was like, you're lucky, y'all. Y'all are lucky. I didn't think to do like a lifetime rev share of our future earnings. I'm like, you're lucky. I think it's like antitrust probably, but I'm like, you're lucky I didn't pull that off, because it's true. It's almost like the person was like, don't you feel a type of way that like I paid you, X amount, 2 or 3, $3,000, whatever, for a program. And like, I'm making 6 figures now with that. I'm like, no, I'm happy for you. But they're like, that's the ultimate cheat code, is like, you took this, and it's like flipping houses, right? You turned it into, flipped it, and flip it. You did. I mean, in every sense of the word, every sense of the word. So I think you kind of answered this a little bit peppered throughout, but I want to capture it for the video. So what would you tell someone who's listening to this, watching this, viewing this, is on the fence about the course, is eyeing it, and they're just like, oh, I don't know. What would you tell that person? Having gone through not only 2 weeks of trademarks, but famously, Ticora has taken almost everything that I offer in general, like all the random courses and trainings and stuff that are on my website. So she can really tell you about my material.
Well, what I would say is that increase the speed at which you can earn income, right? And if your lack of income is because you don't have the skill set or the strategy in order to do so, make the investment so you can increase your speed at earning the income, right? And so to me, it just find a way to make money faster. Most people say, well, I'm going to figure out how to make all this money, then pay for the course. And it's like, you're not going to be able to do that very quickly. It would be much quicker if you took the course and you figured out what you're supposed to do, then you implement it and you make your return back, right? And so to me, life is already hard enough. Just don't make it more difficult. Don't make it more difficult on yourself, right? Just say, okay, if I know that I need it, then take it, and if you're watching this, you can use my code Ticora, and that will get you $500 off the course, and for any version, and that will go towards the first payment. So that will also reduce the amount of money that it would take for you to get started. Ultimately, choose you, choose yourself, choose your future, because I chose myself in 2017. I'd only interacted with Sonia once, but I had followed her and I saw what she was doing and I was like, wow, it's amazing. But I knew what I needed, and I knew that I wasn't going to get it any other place and it be the quality that she provided. And so I made that investment and I quickly made it back. I mean, quickly, because I had not only the strategy with how to do trademarks better and I learned more, but it was also, how do I respond to these office actions? Some of the templates that you gave me, and things like that. I'm like, wow, I've got these things that are going to help me become better. And then I built from that and I brought my skill set. So to me, it's just like, increase the speed at which you can earn income. Why would you, if you know my story, right? And everybody knows I operate in integrity, seeing what happened from year 1 to year 5, that I'm not any more special than anybody else. I think
Right.
I'm just a really good student and I do not let great opportunities pass me by.
I love that.
And I know that I will do the work that is required to get a return on the investment. If you have a mindset where you're feeling like maybe this isn't going to be good, you have to ask yourself, do I trust myself to do the work? Because Sonia can be trusted, but can you trust you? So those would be the things that I leave you with.
Well said. Thank you. So just to recap, Ticora is joining me as a guest speaker in 2 weeks to trademarks. And so if you go to teachmetrademarklaw.com and you enter your email and your name, you'll be taken to the enrollment page. There you can look at the 2 options. So if you're a little confused, there's Boss of Myself and there's Boss of an Empire. Boss of Myself is designed for the attorney who's like, I don't want to hear anything besides trademarks. Period. No marketing, no systems, no nothing. And you will get a full immersion of trademark practice from A to Z and everything in between, ready to use Word templates that you can download and start customizing. It's everything trademarks in a box. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, that's one piece of the puzzle, but I don't even know how to get a client. I have no clue how to run systems. I have no clue how to give a consultation. Boss of an Empire is what I just said, right? Boss of Myself. And then we stack on trainings such as Conquer the Consultation, which the first time I taught it around, an attorney famously said, just that training alone helped her close 15K of new business in 4 days. Wow. So we are reteaching. So Ticora and I, number 1, are reteaching Conquer the Consultation together. Number 2, we're going to go over, I have a whole entire session on just systems, processes, building templates, client communication scripts, SOPs, which if you're not familiar is standard operating procedure, right? All this, the back end stuff that makes the wheel turn faster, because yes, you can do everything and manually piece it together. But if you want the kind of money that just makes that easier kind of green, right? That's that very important piece of the puzzle. And Ticora has absolutely mastered that. And I'm so glad to have her for that piece. So she's going to be doing 2 sessions. but in only Boss of an Empire, right? So please remember, Boss of Myself is strictly trademarks, get in and get out. You're already getting the referrals. You're tired of referring out trademark work to other people. You're leaving money on the table, right? You're already seeing it in your business, the opportunity to do that. And you just need to know how to practice the area. Boss of Myself for you. Boss of an Empire, if you want anything around the side of the business plus the trademark law, right? So systems, processes, marketing, tons of marketing training, and how to do a consultation. You get 2 calls with me included after the fact, which is pretty nice. After all of this, class starts live July 11th, and Ticora is guest speaking 2 of the sessions in Boss of an Empire. So it's live. It'll be just like this on Zoom. You have plenty of it's the closest you're going to get to getting both of us in one room next to you, being like, all right, sis, how can we help you? Because you can ask us questions in real time. We're answering them throughout all the sessions. So it really is the full immersive experience. And make sure you enter, what's the code?
Ticora,
Just
Ticora.
simple as that, simple as just a first name, which you get $500 off. So I'm pleased to partner with Ticora in more than one way and offer this to you guys. If you have any questions, you can always reply to any of the emails, DM. You know how to find us. Join the Facebook group, which is Trademark Attorneys/Lawyers if you're not there already. And on that note of material that we're teaching together, we are wanting to leave you with a little bonus today at this end of this video of 3 proven top ways to close more consultations in the trademark field, right? So with that, I'll let you give the first one, Ticora.
All right. So the very first one is you only want to speak to people who are sales ready. Knowing who you are supposed to serve, your client avatar, and understanding the nuances of that person, you need to make sure that your intake form is tailored to determine that that person that is inquiring about your services aligns with who you want to serve and that they are ready to move forward very quickly. If you don't speak to people who are sales ready, what will end up happening is you will just invite frustration into your life and into your business and into your team. And so become very particular about the people that you invite to have time with you, whether it is free or paid, because you are the prize. Never forget that. You are the one who has the skill set, you have the knowledge, and people are coming to you because they need something from you. You don't have to speak to everybody, and you should not. Make sure you only speak to people who are sales ready, and make sure you know what that means for you and your firm.
Love it. All right, here with tip number 2. So some of you may have heard this already, but if you're new to it, prepare to be a little dazzled. So this is what I like to call either Bop the Birdie, or as my followers lovingly call, the Starbucks hack. No, I am not sponsored by Starbucks, but I really should be, given how much money I spend there. I always have a Starbucks cup. Always. I know, Starbucks.
You're listening.
Right. If you're listening, the Starbucks hack is one of my favorite ways over the years to really shine and to kind of answer that lifelong age-old question of, how do I separate myself? I can tell this potential client is shopping. You know, I'm sure I'm not the only attorney they're speaking to. How can I really, close the deal? Like, a sports analogy, like Bop the Birdie, just right over, right? How do I really seal the deal and make sure that I'm the one that's chosen? And this is assuming that you want to work with this client. So per Ticora's first suggestion, right? Some of the work begins even before the consult, but assuming you vetted them, you had a great consultation, you think this is a client I really want to work with, and I really want this business, right? Maybe you just really need the money. Let's be real. It's okay, right? If you kind of make sure, if you got bills to pay and you have deadlines, you make sure you do this. So I want you to go to starbucks.com. I want you to open up an account, and I want you to tie your business card to your business credit card to it. And from there, you can actually choose any denomination amount. It does default to $25. So you might want to change that depending on the situation. And you want to send an email, you want to put in the person's email, the recipient, write a little message, and Starbucks will charge you, deliver that e-gift card, right to their inbox. And so then what you want to do is do your follow-up email. You should always have a follow-up sequence, right? That's a tip we didn't name, but obviously we're going to cover that in detail during Conquer the Consultation. But when you follow up, you want to say it was a pleasure speaking with you, blah, blah, blah. Below are the next steps to get started and to move forward. Online links only. We are not making anyone print anything ever. Don't let me catch you guys. Electronic letter of engagement, right? Below are the next steps to move forward. As an additional token of my appreciation for you taking the time to have a consultation with me, please check your email for a little something from me to enjoy at Starbucks. You guys, this like hardly ever not works. That's probably like a horribly grammatical way to say it. It has a very high success rate. Let's put it that way, because think about it. It's so simple. It's not groundbreaking. I didn't pretend to invent it. The idea of a gift card, but $5, $10 to show someone like, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a consultation with me. Those are the kinds of sparkles that will separate you from other peers in your market, that you feel like if everyone's doing the same thing. And that is just one small sliver of the type of material that I have famously used and implemented, and I'll be teaching in the course. All right. Ticora, do you want to give number 3?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think within that same line, if you're saying, man, I really want to incentivize someone to move forward with me, you can have something that is time sensitive that is added to the invoice or just your service. For example, you can say, okay, I like to say, I love to reward people who take action. And so if you decide to move forward by midnight tonight with our services and you pay the quote in full, you will receive this. And that could be, if you have a contract template shop, perhaps it is some sort of gift card to your template shop, right? Or what I like to do is take a little bit off of the overall bill. And being able to do that allows me to make more money faster because people are incentivized to make a quick decision. And, ultimately, I'm helping the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur has a lot on their mind. They need to move this from their to-do list to their done list, and being able to move forward with me allows me to serve them so they can continue to create with freedom.
I love that. And you have a magic sort of phrase that you use. I like to reward.
Oh, I like to reward.
I love that. And I want to capture that. So you guys listen to her beautiful phrasing of this and use our stuff. Go ahead.
I say it at the end of the call, and I say, I really enjoyed speaking with you, and I don't do this for everyone, but I love to reward people who take action. And what I will do for you is I will take $250 off of your package if you decide to move forward tonight. If you decide to move forward at a later time, that's okay. You can still pay full price. My quote will still be open at that time, but I do just want to let you know that I want to reward you if you do decide to take action, and you'll see that reflected on your invoice that I'll be sending over shortly.
Love it. And I'm assuming also that has a very high success rate in working. I would assume so. Yeah, that's
genius. I would do it tomorrow.
You're like, I'm doing it right now after this call is over.
Especially if I'm like, okay, I'm right. I want to make my sales goal, and or you're experiencing something that's happening. You can start to test some things. So I even test the different prices or amounts that I've taken off, and I think that there's a sweet spot where it's like, oh, this bit off, it really doesn't incentivize them, but this right here is like that perfect sweet spot. So doing it that way.
And I love that phrase. I like to reward entrepreneurs who take people.
I like to reward clients who take action. I like to reward people who take action. And they're like, oh,
I love it.
It's not like I don't have to offer the discount.
No. You don't. I mean, the price is the price. So it's one of so many examples that Ticora and I have both, taken from overall business world, right? A discount for early action, promo codes, things like that is nothing new that we haven't seen in retail or in the online space in e-commerce, right? But applying some of these simple strategies to what is a traditional practice of law, right? And modernizing it. That's really what I think has contributed to, one of the things that's contributed to our success is just taking age-old principles, retweaking them, reinventing them to, make sense in what we do. And so that's just 3, kind of quick, easy things that you can consider doing to close more consultations. But we are excited to partner up. We're going to reteach Conquer the Consultation, bigger, better, faster, stronger than it was. And, we're going to spend a lot of time on the scripted process, right? The framework that each of us uses. And it is a little different, which is the benefit of having 2 minds, right? We each do things a little bit differently. And so you can kind of get an idea of how we do things, but we follow a framework and how we give our consultations. So we're going to give you the scripting. We're going to do role play, not that kind, not that kind, right? We're going to do some mock role play. We're going to bounce some questions. We're going to answer the most common objections, problems, myths, and things that we see come up in the consultation process to help you close more of them. We're going to talk about follow-up sequences. We're going to talk about creating urgency in other areas of the trademark process, right? So for example, after you do a search, how can you create urgency to move that past into the application, right? What do we do in those in-between periods? So we're going to talk about all of that and more in Conquer the Consultation. And then, as I mentioned, Ticora is also joining me to have a whole separate session within the Boss of an Empire on systems, processes, client communication scripts. So after the person becomes a client, which they will, because you did the consultation right, how to really make sure that that firm runs smoothly so that you can be out and about in the Dominican while your firm makes money, so that you can be building Legos on the floor with your kids and not be worrying about these little pieces because you've created systems and processes in the background. So just a little snapshot of all that's to come. Super excited to do this reteach. And again, if you are a 2 Extra Trademarks alum, if you've already been in the program, you get a free seat to all the sessions in Zoom. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't come soak up some knowledge. And if you've been on the fence about taking the course, there could not be a better time, because I haven't taught it live since 2018. It's now 2022. So it's time. And you get a front row seat live all day on Zoom. I'm sorry, not all day, all session long on Zoom. The syllabus there's a link to the syllabus on the website. And if we can answer any more questions, feel free to contact either of us, but make sure you use her code Ticora.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ticora. Thank you so much for joining me, for sharing your story, and also just for always just being so transparent and vulnerable. You're somebody that doesn't shy away from sharing the low points in addition to the high. And I'm like that too. You got, it all is one life. You got to show everything. And I love that you do that.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm really excited. I love teaching and mentoring and all that type of stuff. So I'm excited to be able to share my smarts with your people.
Thank you so much. All right. We'll see you all soon. Thanks, Ticora.